Okay, it is 9:05 a.m. It is April the 16th, 21, and I just haven't started anything right now. I haven't done the watch list, haven't looked at the previous runners yesterday, anything. I just want to just do a very small outline of my plan today. I'm going to do number 5 setups, and I'm going to try buying when I see some kind of a turnaround in the level 2, ideally. Max volume just happened, so maybe there's going to be fading volume, but you can never guess if it's going to be a stutter step or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to consider buying on every move up, and unless it's like a humongous green candle, I'm not going to trade it. Maybe I'll still trade it, but it'll be less likely. And I'll be super conservative. I'll play a small $500 position. If it works, great. If it doesn't, cut losses quickly. Even if my order doesn't execute in time, if I at least try to cut losses quickly, I don't see what's wrong with it. You never know if it's going to be a stutter step or an actual move on the upside, so that's what I have in mind. And if it is a stutter step, great, I'll be ready for the next one. I might trade a small $500 position again. If it's a potential reperk, it could be the official bounce, sure. But if it puts up a higher low, so if it spikes and then drops and then it holds a higher low from the previous drop, that's when I'm going to consider putting a lot more money, especially if the volume is fading, because I've seen that time and time again actually works. So that's the mindset I have right now. The only thing that is really going against it is that maybe there's not a lot of room for these stocks to drop. RGBP is right now at 39. This one still has some room. In theory, LTNC looks a bit dead. I don't know if there's room for that. The other one was ENZC. Looks like my charts did not save from yesterday. That's fine. This one doesn't seem like it has room either. Definitely not. I don't know why I have this stock here. I guess it's because it was up the other day, but or maybe the charts didn't save from the other. Yeah, the charts, it looks like maybe they didn't save from yesterday, but that's the mindset I have right now. I'm going to look at what stocks were up yesterday just to catch up, you know, the largest percent gainers, and we'll go from there. That's my mindset for right now. We'll see how it goes. Okay, it's 9:35 a.m. I just got in and out of RGBP. This, again, what I said previously, if it's going to show any sign of a turnaround, I'm going to buy. Ideally, the candle is green, and that's exactly what happened. I bought 10,000 at 34, and that time was 9:32, so that was right here in this candle back when it was near the bottom right here. And then I immediately sold actually at later in the candle at, what is it, 36.1, just because of the fact that we had that such of a excessive candle spike. I know it doesn't seem like much, but I mean, for a candle to go from 33 to 37, that's already a 10% move in one candle. Immediately sold. There were some sellers on the ask that I didn't like. It managed to get up to 38, so that's pretty impressive. And right now it's just no trade right now. If we see like a stutter step, well, not really a stutter step, if we see a downtrend and it puts up a higher low off of this level, maybe a wick is here and then the bottom of a candle is here, I'll be interested in going a larger size. So that's the situation that I'm in. I think I'm up. It's 20 bucks. I traded a small position, like a $350 position size, because it wasn't, you know, ideal. I'd prefer the higher low where I'd put more money, because it just seems to work better. You don't want to, you know, be in a stutter step. I don't mind my position size at all. I think it was good for what it was. If this thing puts up a higher low, I might be interested. I'll be scared, but I'll be interested. Okay, 9:38, just a few minutes later. It is what appears to be a potential higher low right here. I didn't get in this trade because there are just a lot of people who are selling with large size on the ask, and I don't really like that. On top of that, this was a very quick higher low. It wasn't gradual or anything like that, so that's why I haven't got into this. It would still work out. It just seems a bit riskier for me to be interested in trading it for that reason. LTNC is looking nice, a nice uptrend so far. Nothing I really want to play it off of or trade with. It looks like it should really try to hold 50 if it wants to, you know, look nice. Maybe it'll do a number 5 off of here, giving itself some range. Another stock that is continuously uptrending. the CCTL. I've kind of avoided this. I've traded it before, but ever since they got the skull and crossbones, I just don't know if I should trade it. It just seems a bit sketchy to want to trade something like that. I'll keep watching RGBP. I don't mind if I miss a setup here. I would have liked a more gradual higher low. LTNC, maybe it'll go red on the day. That will be impressive. That's the mindset I have right now. There's something I want to trade. Okay, it's 9:43 a.m. Yeah, I could have bought here in 34 because it was holding 34. There was a nice wall of people at 34. There were some large sellers on the ask. I just didn't get in this because it just didn't seem as ideal. Sure, the theory is there. We have the wick and then the higher low, right? So that could show that it can do an uptrend, but it's just not the same as the other ones. I have screenshots. If you look at LTNC, this one was an inverse head and shoulders, but look how much range it had. It went from 42 to 33. That's a lot of range. And then we have not a higher low here, but we had a inverse head and shoulders. Then we have SYSX. Again, this one just had more range from, I guess, 720 to what, I guess like 12 and a half. Much more in range. Here's the low, and then here's the higher low. Kind of did a double, bottom, whatever you want to call it. It just seemed like it had more range. An even better one was ENZC. Again, here's the drop here. Here's the higher low. Look at the difference in time. I'm not sure exactly what the distance is. I'll have to figure out what are these increments of, but it just seems like there's more space here, more range, and this is just like tiny, it's not looking that nice. Although it works for 34 or 35, that's all it did. It's choking right under VWAP. So that's the situation I'm in at the moment. I just don't see anything that I'm too interested in. Had this have been stretched out a little and also more range, that would be better. Other than that, I'm just going to stop looking at RGBP for the moment. I could have, yes, in theory bought. It just seemed a little, it just wasn't as ideal. It worked a little, 34 to 35, 9. So yeah, no trades right now, but I'll keep looking. Alright, it's 9:52 a.m. RGBP. Let's see if it cracks 30 at some point. Maybe it won't do it today, but if it cracks 30, that could be a nice downtrend. Stop losses, maybe a number 5 setup. LTNC gave back most of its gains here. Don't see anything that I really want to trade. Nothing I want to trade at the moment. It looks like ALPP kind of did a number 5 setup, but not perfect. 283 to 310. That's not too bad. It's a higher priced stock, but seems to have worked out. I don't see any setups I want to trade, but RGBP, if it cracks 30 or something like that, that might be really interesting. Okay, it's 10:05 a.m. I don't see anything that I really want to trade. RGBP is downtrending, but it is very gradual. Unless it cracks 30 and it just does this big tsunami crash, that would be nice. Other than that, it's not going to be anything that I want to trade. LTNC, yes, double bottom, but it just seems a bit degenerate. It's just degenerate. I mean, sure, it's doing an uptrend. Maybe it's like AABB where they're trying to bring it back again. Right, it could be something like this where it had this drop and then it did another run up, but I don't want to trade this right now. It just doesn't seem that nice. It could totally do it though. It's under VWAP. Maybe if it was putting up a higher low, I would be interested, because that would be like that VWAP triangle setup I'm thinking about. ADAC, this stock I don't want to trade at all. This is the one that wrecked me right here. I learned not to dip buy stocks on the green day randomly, only confirmed breakouts or stuff like that. Look at this tiny skinny wick. I got wrecked, absolutely wrecked there trying to sell, change orders. Not a good day, although I learned a lot from it. MTSL is a listed stock. I'll be interested in this if it does the inverse head and shoulders. I don't think I've ever traded a listed stock with Charles Schwab, so that'll be interesting, but it has to do a nice spike back to the neckline, ideally here around 5, and then the right shoulder has to be higher than the head, and if it's at the same range or maybe even a bit higher, that'll be nice too. But other than that, there's nothing I want to trade right now. I'm just gonna keep looking. Seems a bit dried today. There's just not any big OTC runners that have a lot of room to drop. unless RGBP breaks under 30. So again, it's just a watch, no setups right now. Okay, 10:22 a.m. I missed it. I was working on my screenshots. MTSL potential inverse head and shoulders. They kind of have this crazy, I don't know what you want to call it, deformity in the pattern, but we have 465, the head 460, right shoulder potential 469, a wick right here 465 to risk off of. It's actually kind of giving a chance for me to consider getting in this trade, but I don't know. I haven't traded a NASDAQ stock in a while. They're always a bit iffy. It'll be a watch, actually. It seems like it might try to do it again, but I don't like how I had a spike here to 495, and then the spike on this shoulder here was only up to 487, and we're right under VWAP. Might not be bad, but it's just less likely that it can do a nice spike if it has this downtrending level right here from this to this. Well, let's see. Ideally, I would be in at 471. We have a massive green candle right here. Is it gonna be another wick? I would say that I missed this setup, but I'll make an update and see what happens to it. It's been a while since I've been looking at listed stocks and considering inverse head and shoulders, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know how the market's been lately with listed stocks, but this one could totally do an inverse head and shoulders. It looks pretty nice. Looks like it's cracking VWAP right now. Until it wasn't. Until it is. Yeah, that's the crazy thing about these listed stocks. They trade like that. Even at 495, it's 20 cents, so you'd be up like maybe roughly 5%. So it's just gonna be a watch, but I'm not gonna chase this stock. I already missed my execution. You know, the time for me to get in this stock, I had that great chance at 471 there. Let's just see what it does. I'll make an update later. Okay, 10:29 a.m. I would be already selling half of my position, if not a good majority of it, just because I have fears of it not being able to break 5. Again, if I was in this setup in theory at 470, which I could have, I totally could have, but I was too busy adding screenshots to upload trades appropriately, and I missed this. I don't like this wick action. I mean, I would be already selling half of my position here, if not all, just to play it safe in case it doesn't uptrend to 5. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I just don't see anything I want to trade, but very nice to see an inverse head and shoulders. Still works here with listed stocks. RGBP died. LTNC, the Desert, ADHC. I was burned. This is a stock that burned me. I'm not sure if I mentioned this already. See, it just absolutely wrecked me. I'm just waiting to see this thing drop, because they cannot spike for very long, and they already put up a head and shoulders. It's barely holding VWAP. Look forward to see that one fall off a cliff. No setups. I will be looking. Maybe there are some other green percent gainers to trade, but right now nothing that I'm interested in. Okay, it's 10:50 a.m. I haven't been looking too much into the markets because, well, I don't see anything nice, so it's just a watch. I even walked around the house a little bit. Just nothing, you know, I don't want to sit around and try to make up something and then want to trade it. MTSL, inverse head and shoulders. Like I said, I think I wanted to sell half somewhere here, if not all. Of course, I wouldn't know for sure because I would have had to have been in the trade to really know what I would have done. But if my guess, you know, is accurate, it would be that I consider selling half, if not all, because we were approaching VWAP and $5 was that level of resistance, and it did have a nice spike to $5, and then look at this drop, right? Short sellers finally got their way with this stock. ADHC, nothing I want to trade. Can't wait for it to drop like this. Maybe it won't, but you know, that's what I did last time. You know, I was in the trade last time, but I learned great lessons again from that stock. LTNC kind of dancing around the VWAP, but would not have traded it because this, I mean, sure, double bottom, but just, I don't like double bottoms. I like higher lows. Doesn't have much spike above the VWAP, so it's not like a VWAP triangle setup. No setups right now. I even took a look. I don't see anything that is up nicely on the day in the OTC markets. or anything like that for me to consider it being interested in trading. Maybe the markets are drying up, and if so, hey, that's too bad, but I think I might call it off right here. If not, maybe I'll make a small update. Obviously, if there's like a big 20, 30, 40, 50% drop on any of the listed OTC stocks, I'd be interested, except for ADHC. Just RGBP, LTNC. The one I looked at previously, it's just not very good volume. If it had better volume, I'd be interested in this one too for a number 5. I was interested before, but not anymore. I might call it off here. If so, a good trading day. Got one trade. At least I can say I improved from yesterday. You never know if it's going to be a stutter step or not. So, went ahead and traded it when I saw a sign of reversal. Immediately ready to cut losses quickly if it continues to drop and be a stutter step. When we had that big spike again that I mentioned yesterday, these big first green candles, sold into it, just didn't know if it would last. It didn't last that much longer, but it did get to 38. That's the mindset. Overall, a good trading day. I'll probably call it off unless I see something absolutely amazing. Okay, it's 12:22 p.m. I'm just gonna call it off. Really haven't been looking at the markets too much. Nothing I really want to trade. IMVU could do a first green day and continue an uptrend. That'd be nice. ADAC. Hate this stock because it's the one that burned me back here in April. So, or was it? What was it? It was the last day in March. Had his head and shoulders, broke out. Just did not want to buy because I was too jaded, remembering what this thing has done before. Now here comes the big decline. Already broke VWAP. We'll see how that does. MTSL had an inverse head and shoulders, and that's all it did. Wasn't that bad. You know, this is why you cut losses quickly. LTNC, nothing I want to trade. RGBP, nothing I want to trade either. It did do like a nice uptrend for a little bit, but I would have never bought because it was putting up a lower low here. So again, just a good trading day. One trade with RGBP. Could have done a lot more than this. I was right to call and say that, hey, even though we have that wick here and a higher low, it just doesn't seem right. Definitely didn't do good. There wasn't much range. It wasn't as nice as it was previously. Then it did it again here. A wick, higher low. Again, you could have played these small baby things, but ideally, I just want to trade as if I had a very, very large account, large position size. You know, I want to trade according to that. I don't want to trade little baby things that might be hard to get in and out of with a larger size, I guess. So I'm going to call it off. Just a good trading day, one trade, and yeah, that's all there was to it.